The absurdity of our electoral system, the first past the post system, where the need for reform, and I'm not referencing the party, is no longer a question of preference but one of principle. The FPTP, that first past the post system, designed in an era of two-party dominance, now serves as little more than a tool of entrenchment for larger parties at the expense of fair representation. And this dysfunction was laid bare in July's general election. Consider this: a government that secured a mere 9 million votes now commands a substantial majority in the House of Commons. Meanwhile, Reform UK, which captured over 4 million votes, has just 5 seats, one of which is an embarrassment even to its own leader. This grotesque mismatch between votes and seats mocks the very essence of democracy. As Sir Ed Davey aptly put it, every vote should count. Under FPTP, 650 constituencies operate as isolated silos, where only the candidate with the most votes wins. The result: vast swathes of the electorate find their voices unheard, and Labour, for instance, which won 63% of seats with just 34% of the popular vote, while Reform UK's millions of supporters barely scrape into Parliament. How can we call this democratic when millions of disenfranchised voters millions of people are simply without a vote simply for the crime of living in the wrong postcode? That's the only problem. Contrast this with proportional representation, where seats align more closely with the proportion of votes cast. PR offers not only fairness, but also diversity, forcing political parties to collaborate and reflect the broader will of the public. At the moment, that collaboration takes place before the voters even get to see the party members. That collaboration, the Labour Party is a broad church. The Conservative Party is a broad church of different views. Imagine if those views were presented to the public independently and that collaboration took place after the election. That's what PR would essentially give us. Smaller parties, often the source of fresh ideas and innovation, would no longer be consigned to the fringes. They would be at the very heart of government. And the symbolic vote on Sarah Orne's PR bill in the Commons this week signals growing dissatisfaction. Almost 60 Labour MPs, including stalwarts like Stella Creasy and Clive Lewis, broke ranks with their leader, Keir Starmer, to demand reform. Yet Starmer, basking in the distortions of the FPTP that propelled Labour into power, remains unmoved, calling FPTP the right system. This is self-interest, pure and simple. Even within Labour, thankfully, divisions fester. The party's own conference voted in 2022 to bring back some sort of discussion about electoral reform, yet the leadership now refuses to act because it's been successful on the FPTP system. Starmer's reluctance underscores why change cannot be left to those who benefit from the status quo. The broader implications are troubling. FPTP fosters apathy, as voters in safe seats see no point in casting ballots that never tip the scales. It rewards polarisation, cronyism, pushing parties to focus on swing constituencies at the expense of national consensus and national debate. Critics argue PR leads to weak coalitions, but I would counter that coalitions are a feature, not a bug. Collaboration between parties ensures governance reflects the nation's will rather than the will of a single party's majority. And that collaboration happens anyway. It's better to see it than for it to happen behind closed doors. Indeed, countries like Germany and New Zealand have flourished under PR. If we fail to act, the cycle will repeat: skewed results, alienated voters, and a parliament that doesn't reflect its people. Reform must start with bold leadership, willing to confront vested interests, and as Sarah Olney's bill illustrates, the tide is turning, even if symbolically for now. Our electoral system is a relic, unfit for purpose, in a multi-party democracy. It's like something out of Pickwick Papers. To paraphrase the Labour MP Alex Sobel, this is the most disproportionate result in British history, and the government must not ignore the clamour for change. We need to move towards a system where every vote truly matters, where democracy is not just a word but a principle upheld and seen in practice.